All right. We are kicking off the last session of day 3. Whose idea was this to do 5 days? That's nuts. 5 Fridays, but we're here. We're making it. Peer-to-peer virtual conference. Thank you all for attending. I want to give a quick shout out on the next slide to all the hosts and sponsors again, including all the great folks at Give and Gain. And Brian, really appreciate your involvement, your team's involvement in this. We couldn't pull it off without folks like yourselves, and couldn't make this thing free for everybody. So definitely appreciate it. Just going on to the next slide. Last session of the day. We still have a couple of weeks left, so of different conferences. So hopefully everybody's enjoying the content and getting a lot out of it. If you miss any of the sessions, they are being recorded, so you can go back and see them later. Every Tuesday, we're sending out emails to the attendees with links to the sessions and a preview of the next week's session. So if you're not getting those, let us know, and we will make sure that gets to you. All right. Quick housekeeping. Again, everybody knows how Zoom works these days, I think, but just in case, as you're thinking of questions, just put them in the Q&A and we'll get to them along the way. If you want to shout out or just communicate in general, chat, everybody can see that as well. And then be sure to stick around at the end of the session and answer a brief survey just to tell us what you thought of the session, if you have any idea about future sessions. And they're also going to be doing a drawing, a raffle for some swag. Halo has been kind enough to give away some swag for lucky winners. So all of that aside, I am going to hand it off to Brian.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. And another incredible Friday with great content. So really appreciate you involving us and the team here that's going to present during what I think is probably happy hour. So hopefully you have a cocktail or a beverage of choice, and we'll get started. But happy Friday. Thanks for making some time to join us. Like we said, that we're the last session today, so we promise to make it worthwhile and a good use of your time. As Mark mentioned, I'm Brian Lively. I'm the founder and CEO of ACL Squared Consulting. I've had the pleasure of working in the nonprofit and mass participation event space for the last decade, and I've worked with thousands of charities and hundreds of events and other technology partners to maximize fundraising potential. We've got a great session for you today, focused on enhancing your fundraising and obtaining new supporters through real-time engagement and live streaming. What does that mean? We're going to talk about it, but it's much more conversational than focusing on slides. And we have a couple of great videos for you to enjoy today. So let me set the stage. Let's think about this. How exciting would it be to have prepared as best as you can and to sit back and relax as your virtual, hybrid, or in-person event or campaign takes place, organically driving new donors and supporters? But how do you do that? And what type of new donors and supporters are you looking for? As I've heard many, many times, everyone is always looking for new donors that they can engage with, but they're not always sure how to do so. So especially in today's landscape, you must meet people where they're at today. And as you know, my iPhone tells me I spend about 20% of my time on mobile device on any given day. So we're going to share with you today some insight of real-time activation and the up-and-coming concept of live streaming. As there's a whole new set of donors and fundraisers who are ready to be engaged differently and kind of on their own terms and incorporating tangible moments. But first, we have to lay the groundwork. So all-star panel with me today, we have Pam Rickard, Director of Active Engagement of the Heron Project, Nicole Jury, Director of Development for the Boston Athletic Association, and Rachel Coling, Regional Manager, North America from global fundraising platform Give and Gain. So the three of them, plus a couple of their 100 of their closest friends, are supporting thousands of fundraisers that are coming together to build some very special moments throughout the $25 million plus fundraising event of the 125th Boston Marathon. Long time coming, Nicole, huh?
Absolutely. We're thrilled to be back.
I agree. Couldn't agree more. So Nicole, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about the overall Boston Marathon fundraising program. And really, I'd love to hear, because I've had the pleasure of working with you since day one of your tenure at BAA. Tell us about the last 6 years and how it's evolved, and why you believe fundraising just continues and the program continues to grow year after year.
Fantastic. So as Brian said, I'm the Director of Development at the BAA. I've had the honor, truly the honor, of working in this role for the past 6 years and getting the opportunity to work with over 200 nonprofits every year. And the BAA is extremely proud of our Boston Marathon official charity program and all of the fundraising that takes place through the Boston Marathon. As Brian mentioned, it's been quite a while now since we've been on the roads, but our last marathon in 2020, even though the event unfortunately could not take place in person due to COVID-19, individuals who raised funds through the Boston Marathon raised over $32 million. So it's a really substantial fundraising opportunity for the nonprofits that we work with. And since I've been with the BAA, fundraising has continued to increase year over year. Really, I think because many of the nonprofits that we work with are just becoming more sophisticated in kind of the manner in which they activate their peer-to-peer fundraising initiatives. And Pam is a fantastic example of that. So thrilled to have her on this panel as well. And the amount of fundraising that takes place is really about an average of 10,000 per fundraising runner in the Boston Marathon, which we know is much higher than kind of our peers in the industry.
Nicole, that's awesome. So with, Boston being such an iconic event, and, the average just continuing to increase around, $10,000 per fundraiser, how do you keep it fun and exciting? And, is there, with the technology partners that you're using and different partners within the space, how do you continue to motivate, the team kind of from the helm to be able to make sure that, all the fundraisers have the ability to continue to grow that number?
That's a great question. I mean, working with the right technology partner kind of has been, I think, pivotal to the success of the program. First and foremost, it should be fun. Everything about running a marathon should be fun, unless you're one of kind of the very few folks at the beginning of the pack that it's their job to participate in the marathon. Everyone else is participating kind of for a reason. And for the most part, it's for a really compelling reason. Especially those athletes that are participating on behalf of a nonprofit organization. And so our goal, and my goal, and the folks that I work with at the BAA, we want to make the fundraising as fun as we possibly can as well. And so kind of promoting fundraising with our technology partner, kind of with fun incentives and contests, even things like live streaming, which I'll know we'll talk about later today, to really get people excited about the event in general, get them excited and connected to the nonprofits that they're fundraising for, and make it as easy as possible for individuals to reach out and ask for donations. Because we know at the Boston Marathon, the kind of the youngest person who can participate is 18, but every year we have participants well into their 80s participating in the event. And so that's a wide range of ages, kind of a wide range of levels of comfort with technology. So the technology does need to be user-friendly, and everyone needs to be able to kind of tap in and have a good time with it.
It's great. I would say my daughters did just ask me recently why I have so many purple toes. And so I told them that was the not fun part of the running.
Yeah, I would say that's probably not a very fun part of the running. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, on that note, purple toes. Pam, you have an amazing story of why you joined the organization. And I think you've done incredible work, with your tenure with the Heron Project. So I think it's just would behoove us to share that story with the audience today. So tell us why you do what you do and how you joined the Heron Project.
Thank you so much, Brian. And I have to piggyback though on what Nicole said too, because really that the fun and the ease of use and the security of the site as well. I mean, those as a charity manager, it's my job to make sure that my fundraisers have as easy, fun time as possible, but also that they feel really secure about the platform, especially for those that are a little bit older or that are fundraising with a little bit older demographic. I found that to be really important as I work with different platforms, but especially I'll give a shout out to Give and Gain, because you all have really stepped up in that department and made our campaign successful already. I will also say that I'm fortunate enough to work with the peer-to-peer model all the time, because while the Boston Marathon is our premier event, no doubt about it, we have other events going on all year long. So I have a lot of experience using different platforms. And one of the things I love so much about the peer-to-peer, and you talked about this earlier, Brian, was the fact that it's such a powerful, impactful way to engage new donors. Because even with our Boston campaign right now, I am beyond obnoxiously grateful to say that we have raised the most we've ever raised with a team, a Heron Project team, in 7 years. We're at $221,000, well before we're ending, with almost 1,400 new donors. Now, and I'll get to what the original question you asked me in a minute, but I just did a little digging, and 84% of those almost 1,400 donors are new donors. Because we have new teammates and they're engaging new people. And these aren't just new donors that came from a mailing, which we would love anyway. These are new donors that are connected to us, some deeper than others, but in a meaningful way, because they care about the person that is running the Boston Marathon, representing Heron Project. One last other thing I'll say about Boston. I'm not saying this just because Nicole's on the call, but I'm saying it as a dork runner who's run Boston, fortunate enough to have run Boston 11 times. It's Boston. So every year we don't have trouble gaining fund. Every year I make more of a deal of, now it's the 125th. Next year's the 126th. I mean, how amazing is that? The longevity and history of that event is something that we use in our engagement and in our fun in fundraising. And I won't take much more time, but I do want to share that the reason I'm even here is because what the initiative that I get to lead with Heron Project, which is a not-for-profit that serves folks in prevention, recovery, and aftercare for addiction services, and we serve individuals and families in all aspects of that particular disease. And I got to come on in 2014 and begin what is called Team Heron Project, which is what I direct. That project, the Team Heron Project idea, began at the 2014 Boston Marathon. I was running it. I didn't know, I knew about Heron Project. I was there on my own running, but I was able to meet Chris Heron, who had been given, I believe, 3 bibs at that time to run Boston for his foundation, Heron Project. And so through a long story, I won't bore you with the details right here, but I got to meet Chris Heron just to sign my 2013 Boston Marathon jacket, because I knew he was in recovery. I was 8 years sober at the time, very grateful recovering runner. I knew what Heron Project was doing, so I thought I would love for him to sign this jacket that I had with many other signatures on it. So that engagement led to, when Chris ran Boston, it was going to be a one and done, and they were going to go on their way, and they had 3 people run it, and they think they raised $35,000 with those 3 people, which is amazing. And then they were going to go on their way. But because of Chris getting some coverage of running the Boston Marathon that year, they received a lot of interest from people saying, we want to run with Heron Project, or we thinking that Heron Project had a running program of some kind. And they didn't. And they said, and again, long story short, I met them and went on to run my marathon and had a wonderful experience, and that was going to be it. But they came back to me because I had also some experience in fundraising and as well as running and being in recovery. And they said, we're not quite sure what to do with all these people who want to run for us, but we don't have a running program and we don't really want one. They said, no offense, but we don't do runs. We don't want to put on 5Ks. We don't know all that, understand that stuff. And I said, I know for a fact that you don't have to be putting on 5Ks. You don't want to, not anything wrong with 5Ks, but you don't need to do that to raise some significant money, because I knew, and I had already raised money for other organizations with my own running. And I knew that there was power in the sport of running, as well as other sports, in engaging people through peer-to-peer, through their own meaning and reason for using their running to help others. And so one thing led to another, and they asked me to help them, and I volunteered. I said, sure. I live in Virginia. They're in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. And I said, I'd be happy to help. Well, again, one thing led to another. And that 3 people running Boston Marathon in 2014, raising $35,000, has turned into Team Heron Project. And now we have more than 900 people that have run for us or are going to run for us this year, raising almost $3 million already. So that's the power of many things. It's the power of Boston. It's the power of recovery. It's the power of peer-to-peer and engaging people in what, not everybody is going to give to Heron Project, but there are a lot of people out there that care about this cause. And if you find people that care about what you do and give them a platform to share a little bit about their story, there is a lot of power there. And that's where I don't worry about the numbers that much, because they're going to come because we're doing the right thing and telling our story and their story.
It's great, Pam. Thank you so much. And I love always hearing your excitement around, that connection in the program and going from 35K to 3 million. That's an accomplishment. So hats off to you. I do want you to speak a little bit though to Kirsten and Nate Root.
Yes.
They were on our recent webinar too, and they lost their brother. And again, I just think they're doing such an amazing job around their fundraising for Boston specifically. And they're incorporating so many moments in time. I took this screen grab earlier. I do not have a marketing professional background, so apologize about if you think this image is stretched. But they already have over 200 donations. They've raised over $32,000. Just, tell the group a little bit around some of their moments in time that have been so successful.
Sure. In a nutshell, Kirsten and Nate are, they're kind of the best of both worlds. They're very organized, but they're very passionate and emotional in a good way. And for obvious reason, they lost Paul and they decided they wanted to do something about that. And that is what I've said many times, my least favorite way of meeting teammates, those that come to do any activity with us, is because they've lost someone. But it's also such a wonderful healing way for them to not only physically be involved in something together and bringing others into their circles, but to help others with their loss. And that's what they decided they wanted to do. And we joke now because I remember, fortunately, we had many more people apply for our bibs than we were allowed at bibs. So I, of course, do lots of vetting when we pick our teammates. And I knew if I picked one of them, I would need to pick the other one. So that would be two spots gone. And but it was really, after we met and talked for a while, I felt very clearly that they needed to be with us. And so they have used lots of different, they've used the updates, as you can see on the screen there. They've done many different updates along the way on their campaign. I do believe that they did do at least one live stream. And one of the ways that the live streams and or even the updates and photos sharing with their link has helped is through wearing gear. So, I mean, I'm constantly wearing this stuff, obviously, because it's what I represent. But when, the simple act of wearing gear in a live, in a live stream and telling your story that way, it helps to incorporate everything that you're doing and the why of what you're doing. So we've had people I've had people email me asking me for gear because they've seen it on our teammates in sharing their stories and their links. So that's been really positive for them. And yeah, they have gone above and beyond even our original goal for them. And they have not lost momentum nor the excitement. And I have to speak for all of our teammates. This has been an incredible year, maybe because there was some pent up excitement that we're really, although I do have to say one thing, and Nicole mentioned it earlier. our 2020 team, I got to give a shout out to them. A couple of them are on this team too. That team raised over $180,000 with either running virtually or not running, and just deciding that's what they were going to do this year, was honor Boston and just continue to fundraise. So I was just in awe, and I had so much gratitude and respect for those kinds of folks who said, we're still, we know we made a commitment and we may not be able to run, but we're still going to fundraise. So I think that's the sweet spot, when you're not going to, everybody isn't going to be as excited as the next person, but when you can meet people where they are, whether you're a charity manager or a fundraiser, you tell your story, and then you tend to grow and have more ideas as you go along based on how people are responding to you. And that's what I can't, I don't want to just speak for Kirsten and Nate, but fortunately I know them well now. And, that's the real perk of my job, is I get to know these people. And, when they, when they reach out for questions and help, it's an honor to work with them. And with the platform, it's just been, again, I have to admit, this particular year has been the most fun, the easiest, and the most secure, and like the things I look for.
That's great. And the webinar that we had Kirsten and Nate involved in, had myself for sure, and most of the attendees in tears as they told their story. It's been very personal, but I just love some of their ideas. They've done some sold some photography of Paul's. Yes. The nieces and nephews have done bake sales. Just some really cool key moments in time. And I just would want to stress to the entire audience that is so crucial, for that to take place, because it is all about the story and storytelling, and what makes it so key and important to, the individual fundraiser and runner.
Absolutely. Several of our other teammates too, I'll just mention, have done things similar and collected shoes, and had, of course, you have the golf tournaments and the dinners, but we've had a lot of unusual, kind of creative type of fundraisers. I want to point out one other very simple thing, but that has really helped a lot this year, and I've heard it from several folks, is using the QR code, because they use the QR code on flyers or even online on a post online. So in addition to their link, if they're using a photo, they can use their QR code, and it just works seamlessly to go straight to their page for a donation. So that has been a huge help as well.
Awesome. Rachel, you there?
Hey.
All right. Tell us about Giving Gain, and how you at Giving Gain are using moments in time, like, live streaming, to drive fundraising and engagement, and anything else that you have in your repertoire.
Yeah. So like Pam said, when it comes to fundraising, it's really about getting creative. You not only want to engage your donors, but as a fundraiser, you got to keep it creative, because if you're doing the same thing over and over again, you're probably going to get bored. Now, we've seen it over the last couple of years. The way that fundraisers are asking for donations has changed. It's gone from the golf outings and the dinners and the mail-in campaigns to asking online. You see Facebook posts all the time. You see Instagram posts all the time, email, all asking for donations. And live streaming is kind of the latest version of that. So if you're not familiar with live streaming, odds are you've probably seen it without really realizing that you've seen it. So everyone knows someone who has launched a Facebook Live at one point or another, whether it's someone promoting a business or just hopping on live stream to engage with family and friends, give an update of sorts. Live streaming really is a way to connect with people now, and a way to engage with people, to be able to share your thoughts, but also provide feedback immediately. So with Give and Gain and the live streaming widget that we've created, we've seen a really great uptick in the gaming world specifically. Brian, I think you have a video that you'll share here in a second with Grant Hines, who's big in gaming. Now, you might not be familiar with the gaming space, and that's okay. But this is a great example of how the Give and Gain live streaming widget can, not only engage your donors in real time, but also provide that instant feedback and instant celebration for your donors when they help you reach a milestone.
Easy. If you look to the left, you'll see a wallet that has vibing ball. It's a tech device made by what's called a personal computer. You just think, hey, Thank you. Lee Johnson just dropped in 100 Rand. What? We're just at the goal. We're just at the goal.
Well done, everyone. That's awesome.
Jeez.
That's freaking amazing.
Hey, look at that. We got like, yes, man. Oh, guys, thank you so much. Wolf Gaming, we hit that goal. Shoot, I wonder if we can raise the goal. Okay, after this, I'm going to work out how to raise the goal. Yo, Yaku, the bonus. I'll raise the goal to 15 grand.
Easy.
So he did end up raising the goal, and I'm pretty sure by the time the live stream had ended, he had raised over 20,000 Rand over the course of the live stream. But as you can see, so as soon as that last donation was made and they hit their initial goal, it was screaming and shouting, confetti on the page. And it was a really exciting moment for not only the people on the live stream, but also probably for the donor who was watching all of this unfold in real time. So this live streaming widget is a way to really promote what you're doing, engage with people immediately, but also for people to be a part of the celebration with you when you reach those milestones.
It's great. Thanks, Rachel. And I think too, Give and Gain is a global fundraising platform. So that gamer is, raising funds in rands. But this is another video clip too of Grant Hines coming on, I think, a morning show there in South Africa with another Give and Gain team member to just kind of show the impact there. So I'm going to play this as well. And Rachel, feel free to recap it after I play it as well.
Because Mandela Day is coming up, and Give and Gain have built tools to help raise money for the NPOs who want to help, especially from home during lockdown. One way is through gaming tools that they've implemented for streamers. Now, Grant joins us to tell us more alongside Head of Sub-Saharan Africa, Yanni Smith, about Give and Gain. Good morning.
Morning.
And how has Give and Gain been able to give back during this lockdown period? Because it's been tough on a lot of people.
Yeah, charities globally have really struggled since lockdown started last year. A lot of the traditional money spinners like golf days and dinners, those things couldn't happen in person anymore. So we've actually seen an increase in people turning to the internet to donate and using a platform like Give and Gain.
And now Mandela Day is coming up, and Give and Gain have actually built a landing page to help gamers connect with this tool set so that they can stream for at least 67 minutes to raise money for the charity. And again, we're in lockdown right now, so it's such a cool way to go, now at home, how do I raise money? I do want to challenge people that are not only gamers to potentially think about how they could use these notification tools to stream, work out how to stream on Facebook, and just see how you can raise money for the charities of your choice.
Awesome.
I love Grant's energy. I wish I could bottle it. So like Brian was saying, so this conversation and this particular campaign was to benefit Mandela Day, particularly in South Africa. But the important thing to note here is that live streaming isn't just specific to gamers. It's something that can be used across all fundraising initiatives. So in the marathon particularly, if you have a practice run or something along those lines that's coming up, launch a live stream while you're doing it. It might not be the nicest thing for someone to look at you, all sweaty when you're running on mile 18 on your long run, but people are seeing the work that you're putting in, and in response, they will want to, submit a donation to help you reach your milestone from a fundraising standpoint, but also feel like they're with you in your training journey along the way. So this particular conversation, like I said, they were talking about Mandela Day. So the Give and Gain platform launched a Gaming for Good web page that pooled together a handful of live streamers who were all doing live streams on Mandela Day and ended up raising a significant amount of money around the cause. So a really exciting thing, and, far and beyond just a really exciting opportunity to connect people, whether you're in lockdown or hopefully we won't have to go back there again, but being able to connect people across your journey, whatever that journey looks like.
Rachel, I would have to imagine that most charity managers, if they have zero familiarity with live streaming in general, it's probably a scary thing. So what is the easiest thing to do to kind of dip your toe in water?
Yeah, absolutely. So the easiest way to get started would be to start small. So just launching a Facebook Live, see how that goes, really start forming those connections with people. And the good thing about the Give and Gain live stream widget specifically is that it's really easy to implement and it takes a couple minutes. So one of the things that we're doing, Brian and I, will be at the Boston Marathon, which we're super excited about. And we actually were able to we're actually going to be implementing the live streaming widget while we're at the marathon. So like Pam said, implementing that QR code, and that QR code will link directly to a donation flow. And we will have a TV set up at the expo, and also there will be some screens along the finish line. And we will be acknowledging those donations as they come in real time via the live streaming widget. So if we're able to implement it at an event as big as the Boston Marathon, then it's really easy for charities to activate around it, no matter how big or how small.
Awesome.
I just love this. And I just want to say, I am a little bit ignorant about it, and we have used it a couple of times, and we do Facebook Live as well. But I, as a runner too, not just a charity manager, we do these videos. I mean, I've got a lot of folks that we're doing our videos, and the sweatier the better, honestly, because we brag about the sweat. I'm sorry. So I love that. And I'm going to I'm going to be looking to implement this more with our team in the next couple of weeks. This is excellent. Thank you for the way you explained it. It's really good.
Good, Pam, and you had mentioned the QR codes earlier as well. Put that big QR code on your back.
Yes.
On
Yeah.
race day.
How cool is, yes.
Yeah, take advantage of all the audience and the supporters along the way.
I love that.
But I'm going to try to put mine on mine for sure. Nicole, speaking of moments in time, you and the team ran a really successful day of giving in August. And then I've heard through the grapevine that you're running another one on Wednesday. Talk about the day of giving, kind of that moment in time, and how you were able to rally over $250,000 that one day in August, and hope to exceed that here next week as well.
Yes. So the Day of Giving is actually an initiative that I've been working on with Brian in a couple different iterations over the past, I guess, 6 years. We've done kind of Days of Giving annually through the Boston Marathon, and have really been able to kind of garner a lot of excitement with the nonprofits that we work with. And then the nonprofits have been able to kind of rally their team members to really take advantage of this fantastic opportunity, to kind of a call to action, to really get as many donations as they possibly can on one day, with the opportunity to win funds that are donated by our very generous longtime principal sponsor, John Hancock. So as Brian said, we had a really successful Day of Giving back in August. Looking forward to doing it again right around the corner. Certainly hopeful that it, as we're so close to the event now, that kind of gains a lot of additional excitement. And reminds those folks who have maybe meant to donate to their friends or family members who are participating that now's the time. And if they make their donation in a 24-hour period, maybe their loved one might have the opportunity to win some additional funds that would go to the nonprofit that they care so much about. So it's been an exciting initiative that we've done for many years, and kind of looking forward to seeing the results of the next one.
Yeah, it's great. A great way that you all have pivoted as well too, because I know the Day of Giving was traditionally based around Giving Tuesday, but since Boston Marathon Fundraising 2021 doesn't encompass that date, and it probably won't encompass that date for 2022 either, right? They're so close back to back. It's just a great opportunity to use the overused word of pivot, but to choose a new day and time, because now a lot of fundraisers and donors alike, are excited about that day. So hats off to you and the team. And
everybody loves a chance to win something. I always tell the nonprofits that we work with, never underestimate the power of a fun incentive. And I think that Giving Tuesday kind of combines a healthy sense of competition, which we know most runners feel strongly, and the opportunity to win some significant funds, thanks to John Hancock.
Yeah, that's great. The top fundraiser on the August day of giving raised $12,575 in 24 hours, and then took home a $2,000 donation from John Hancock. So very exciting there. They'll be featured as the September fundraiser of the month too at Giving Gain. So awesome job to Becca and the team. I'll open this one up to Pam, you or Rachel, but donors and fundraisers, the evolution of their expectations of how they would like to be engaged continues to change and grow. Are there any tools or processes that either the technology or the charity has come up with to make sure that you continue to engage your donors and fundraisers alike on what their expectations are?
It's nothing new, but one of the things that I've increased this year across all of our events is utilizing Zoom more, because we tend to have participants all over the country, mostly on the East Coast, but we have folks from all over the country running with us. So we utilize team gatherings, and there's so much energy there because I noticed that, I have what I call the bird's eye view of all these teams, and and it's exciting and exhilarating for me, but I like them to be able to feed off each other and share ideas with each other. And it's amazing I just sit back and listen and watch sometimes. And because everybody's doing the same job or has the same goal, but they have different details. So something will spark something with someone else. So that is one thing we've utilized. And the nice thing when they're all using the same platform too, which they always are usually, but is that they have the same tools available to them from the platform as well as from me in terms of what they use to tell our story, and encouraging them to collaborate their story with our story. And so we've developed a couple of new pieces on our end to help people do that. I won't get into specifics now, but just to help people. So it's not just go raise money for Heron Project, go tell people how great Heron Project is, but talk about why, not only why Heron Project matters, but why does it matter to you? And how can we mesh those stories together?
That's great. I think you touched on a really key point as well, is that if COVID-19 and the pandemic has taught us anything, is that we do have different opportunities and ways to engage with a national or global audience, right? I mean, I know for me specifically, some of my best friends, live in Southern California, and they lost a child a handful of years ago, and I've not always been able to go to their annual gala. But now with additional resources, tools, technology, live streaming, I'm still able to participate in their annual event, from my living room in the suburbs of Detroit, and that's happening in San Diego. So people want to be able to be connected, and they want to be able to be heard. And so the technology tools of the Zoom and the webinars and things like that, even though I know everybody has Zoom and webinar fatigue, but they're really important to keep that community alive and to share the story and true success stories across the board. Because what I've always said too, there's some charities or events that like to keep all their trade secrets really, really close to their chests. The power of this community is opening them up and sharing them all, because you never know when, those 82% of your 1,400 donors are going to be Heron Project donors, right? And they might be American Cancer Society donors next week, but that is the way that people now give back. They don't just traditionally give to one organization. So the information sharing is crucial.
It is, and it's powerful.
Absolutely. It's good stuff. Rachel, anything to add?
Yeah, I think you both hit it spot on. It's that forming connection. So especially with 2020, because we saw nearly all events going virtual, people were training for these marathons that they were participating in their houses, in their backyards, in their neighborhoods. So really it was easy to feel pretty isolated. But what Give and Gain and other platforms have really empowered people to do is to form those connections, not only with their donors, but also with the people who are fundraising alongside them. So it really creates a sense of community, not only amongst your team within your own charitable organization, but also within your greater event as a whole. So the 124th Boston Marathon, the 125th Boston Marathon, really creating those connections, despite the fact that, you know, during the last year, we've all been so separated, but, and it's really created a sense of camaraderie as we come back together for the next coming events.
It's great. Pam, how are you celebrating the team on Boston Marathon weekend?
Wow, just showing up is going to be the biggest celebration. That's the other thing. I mean, when you've missed that year, I mean, you never wouldn't wish it on anybody, but it increases the gratitude, tenfold. But we're having a gathering. Instead of a dinner, we have an open gathering, and we hold it at the W Hotel in Boston. And we're hoping that you all will come, and because we just have like a time for us to it's casual. We have food and refreshments, but we want to be able to talk to each other and meet each other. And Chris Heron will be there, and all of our staff comes to that. And those are really powerful experiences for us. And I've been there 7 years and done so many of those. I have to admit, I mean, and I'm an old lady. I've done a lot of different jobs in my life. I've never gotten tired of those gatherings, because that's where the magic is. We talk about that, that is where we finally get to celebrate together. And then we a lot of times we call the marathon just our celebration parade, because we've done all the work to get to this, and now we get to celebrate together along that course. So, but anyway, yeah, so we get together, and then I have a time where I sit the team down, and that's where, I keep it short, but it's fun that I've gotten to know these folks along the, however long it's been that we fundraise together. So I give them a special gift as I share a word or two, and we're always laughing and crying, which is, I think, the best kind of gathering is if you end up laughing and crying a lot, more laughing, but crying because you're emotional and you're grateful. That's our goal.
Awesome. Well, we're going to come and give safe COVID-19 high fives,
Yes,
fist bumps and hugs,
yeah,
and celebrate the success of the team. So that's amazing. Nicole, anything that we missed that you wanted to share?
No, I just wanted to piggyback off of what Pam said. I mean, I think that for the BAA and for the city of Boston, kind of this event that's happening in just a few short weeks is really such a celebration that we're here. I mean, the Boston Marathon has been around for 125 years. That's a celebration in itself. It's a really big anniversary. But the fact that we've been so separated for so long due to COVID-19, to be back on the roads again is not only kind of a really powerful, like happy, sad, all of the emotions moment for the BAA, but also for the city of Boston and the running community. So, I mean, I am looking forward to it. I'm a Bostonian born and bred. I've always felt like it's a special day, and it's been kind of a really special part of my life. So I look forward to that both kind of personally and professionally. And feel the same for the other majors that are all happening kind of within this very short window of time. I think it'll be kind of a very special moment for the full running community.
Oh yeah.
It's very, very, very true. I have talked to a few folks in the last couple of weeks that are literally going to be in Chicago, and then we'll be in Boston. I don't know how they're going to do it. They're going to drive fast, but I'm going to root them on.
My hat's off to those folks. Yeah. There's more of them than you'd think. And I'm a weekend warrior, certainly not a professional marathoner. And I'm incredibly impressed. That's a long time to spend in a car in between two marathons or on a plane.
That's correct. That's correct. But we wish them all luck. And if you see any tears, and there will be a lot of them crossing that finish line, they're definitely tears of joy, which is awesome. But great moments. Pam, Nicole, Rachel, thank you so much for joining. This was awesome. Your energy is contagious. And we look forward to a lot of great moments in time here coming up. The use of live streaming. Pam will have to bring it to the celebration on that Sunday as well, and keep increasing that so you continue to break those records of the Boston fundraising team. So hats off to you. But before we conclude, Rachel, anything come in through the chat from a question standpoint?
No,
We're great. All right.
we're all good.
Awesome. We'll welcome Mark back to the stage, and we'll wrap up. But we thank everybody for their time on a late Friday afternoon, and hope you enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, that was awesome. Well, thanks everybody for your time and your ideas around all of this exciting stuff. Oh, all these marathon talks. I'm tired just thinking about it. All right. Well done for everybody involved. This is the last session for this week. 2 more weeks of Fridays with full sessions. So definitely come back and check us out. Thank you, everybody that could attend today. And thank you all for the panel for your time. And everybody have a great weekend.
Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.